Hey, thanks for tuning into part 2 of the video. It's been about 6 hours since we first poured our domino set. They are solid, not sticky or tacky to the touch, so we're going to go ahead and add the second layer. After that, we'll do the little YouTube magic. Go ahead and pop these bad boys and talk about the next steps as far as coloring, painting, and adding any type of decals. Stay tuned. So I went ahead and got our epoxy all mixed, 2 equal parts, 3 minutes per each part combined. Mixed them for another 2.5. Added my colors. Again, for my second layer, we're doing the white with the little silver. Mixed again for another minute and let it set here. Just a couple minutes while I got myself prepared for the next part. So this is what our second layer is going to look like. So again, these are solid, not sticky or tacky to the touch. So we're going to add part 2. And again, with this silicone cup like we talked about in the first video. And a steady hand. Just going to pour that in. Now with the second layer or one color dominoes, I like to make it level with the top. That way I can end up doing minimal sanding and I get the most consistent looking dominoes. So just like in part 1, I'm gonna pour this in. Also like in part 1, I used 100 milligrams of each of the 2 parts of epoxy, so I'm left with approximately 200 milligrams to fill my tops. In a perfect world, I have a little left over and I'll use that to finish off my coaster.
Again, if it's your first time, you might not want to go as quickly as I'm going. I can kind of eyeball it. You can always come back and add more if it's looking a little light. You can always come back and remove some if it's looking a little heavy. So just remember to work within the time, or the work time that your particular epoxy provides. So I generally try to go for a perfect pour, which there's no such thing as perfect the first time, but that doesn't always happen. So at this point, approximately, with the keychains and the coaster and the dominoes, we've used about 400 milliliters of epoxy. If you're more precise in your measurements, you don't want any extra, you can certainly use a lot less. But I'm all about the most bang for the buck. I know my mat probably looks a little crazy. If you were ever wondering about how mats get cleaned, same with the silicone containers. Once that epoxy's dry, you just pop those pieces off. As long as there's nothing stuck in my mold and it's not crazy and impairing my pour, they really don't bother me.
So now we got these over here. Perfect for demonstration purposes, I suppose. Got my popsicle stick, just because it's easy to maneuver. I'm going to take my little cup. Hold on, let me go ahead and make this work. Hopefully that's not all screwed up. I'm going to take my little cup and I'm going to just maneuver this extra off the board. If I had one, let's say that was like a little, needed a little bit more, I would probably, slide it that direction if it was close. But since they're all pretty filled, just like, a knife, and scrape off that excess. Just put it back in there as you can. Because again, all that extra is going to result in having to file. And filing, while not the worst thing in the world, is time consuming. And no one wants to, spend an extra 20-30 minutes just filing if they don't have to. And I have my little excess over here. I don't want to.
keep your finger out of the other molds while you're cleaning up your full ones. And, see, this is like a little Scooby-Doo. Put the extra back in there. Scooby-Doo.
Then coaster, and with the help of a little YouTube iPhone magic, these will be ready here in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And by ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I mean they're probably going to sit for about 8 hours overnight, and then we're going to get back to business. All right, see you soon. Good morning. Good morning. It's 7 o'clock here in wonderfully hot and humid Texas. It's been 8 hours. These Dominos, keychains, and coaster have set overnight. They are solid. So let's go ahead and get them popped. We're also going to talk about the things we use to complete them to their final capacity. So let's do it. All right, let's get popping. First, we're going to do the coaster. Again, we used our leftover epoxy to complete this. We poured one layer and then add the other layer. So this is the bottom, a little two-tone. Again, it's just a regular silicone mold. So now we have this little doohickey. In order to finish this up, I would add some type of decal, maybe take away from this line. It's a little frustrating. In hindsight, I probably could have peeled this a little better so I had like a yin and yang look, but you know, such is life. But a good decal or water slide will take care of that. Hold your coffee. Next, we have the letters. So went ahead and pop those out. Those are good to go. Again, just leftover epoxy. Turn those into keychains would be no problema. If I wanted them to match with the Dominos, I could have done like a second layer the way we did with the Dominos, but these are just solid. With the rest of the black, I would use my screwdriver and then fashion on some type of clasp or circle ring. But now time for what I know you all have really been waiting for. Drum roll, please. Dominos. So they are solid. It does take about, for this particular epoxy, a full 24 hours to be what they considered completely cured. But right now they're hard to touch. Definitely not sticky, not tacky. And that again comes from mixing properly, working within the time frame, all of that fun stuff. So to finish these up, you need some type of sander. With these, I'm hoping that I only just need like my little small hand file for any rough edges or sides that need to come up, any additional. We do have a little spillage up here in this top row, but we can take care of that, and I'll show you how. What you're actually going to place on the back of the domino, if anything. I went and cut some vinyl decals real quick, and I'll show you how I do that. And then you're also going to need your paint if you want to fill in your dominoes. I have these cheapy I got from Dollar General, just basic colors. Then I went to Walmart and got some more of the actual Sharpie brand, and these are the permanent paint pens. Paint Permanente, oil-based, white, silver, gold, red, and black. I also have a blue and an orange one somewhere too. But let's go ahead and pop our first domino. I'm gonna save the fun stuff for last, so let's go this way first. So the bottom, where we have the minimal spillage. So I don't use any type of domino release in mine, and they come out just fine. Pretty legit. You can see where we have the two colors, the black and the silver. I would have liked the black to be a little darker, but overall I'm satisfied. The sides are pretty smooth. I'd probably just because you don't want it to be, you know, painful to the touch at all. So that's our first one. All right, so this one you see came out with some little boogies, right? At this point, it's, you know, again, it's not the full 24 hours. You can usually just twist these off. And they offer no real resistance. Now we have those, and then again, that's where this file comes in. You just smooth that out like you would a hangnail or anything like that. Buff it up real quick. Same thing with your keychains. If your keychains are a little rough, just hit them with a file, buff it out, make sure it's not painful or snagging to the touch. Hit it, smooth it. There we go. So it's our second one. Again, another one with some little uglies. Just twist, pull those off. Just left like a little extra. See that little imperfection? Perfect. This, and no more little imperfection. And then again, when you make your mold, assuming you've used all the same size dominoes and you've poured consistently, the dominoes are going to be pretty uniform. I mean, it's still early, so I'm not going to slap them now on the table, but you can hear that they click. They're pretty solid. So let's do one more. Again, just the slightest little extra. And I just twist. If it's ever to the point, let's say for example, like, oh, I just can't twist this off. I just take my scissor. At one point in time, these were specifically for like paper and things, but now they're for everything. And I just cut it off. And again, hit it with the file. And then no ugly little blemish. Alright, so I will go ahead and pop the rest of these, but I want to do some of these ones with the larger, like this for example. Ew, it's gross, right? So when you have something like that, you end up with this. What in the world? I don't think that works for any type of regulation play. I just go ahead, twist. So I've already freed one. Again, a little minimal. File it down. Now, what do we do with this extra monstrosity? This is me just, you know, trying to show off the camera. But again, oh, scissors. Oops. Oops. Get that off. And again, it's not like you're going to need to file all of them unless your pour is just completely off. You would just, again, you know, just nail textile. Again, get it good to the touch, as long as it doesn't hurt the palm of my hand. One thing I do notice with that type of overage is it might be a little thicker on this side. Not by much, but it is a little bigger. So that's why you really want to avoid that and clean that up off the mat as best you can prior to them getting hard. But yeah, I mean, it's really no big for me personally. I always express to people, you know, things are handmade. They're not going to be perfect. So I get them as close to perfect as I can. So getting those sides down, pretty easy peasy. Might require just a little more work on this. Getting that shine back, just spray a little bit of gloss on it. I'll post a link down to that gloss, so that way the sanding and the buffing doesn't take away from the luster of the domino. So that is how we do that. Got another one here. Again, I would just cut this off, file it, make sure it was comfortable to the touch, and then I would do that for all of them. Overall, I guess another issue you could potentially have would be the opposite of over pouring, and it'd be under pouring, and you have like a little valley in the back of your domino, so to speak. If that were the case and you hadn't necessarily pulled it out, or maybe you had pulled it out, you're like, oh no, you can go back and add some more epoxy and fill that in to take care of that. But I definitely try to avoid that, because once you pull it out and you try to put it back in and add more epoxy, there's that chance that the epoxy is going to leak and you're going to have like this extra film, which again, sometimes you can work with it. It can be a style in and of itself. But when you're going for the uniformity, like all these are, fronts are solid and the backs are solid. Right, so I will go ahead and pop the rest of these, get them filed down, and then we'll talk about putting that decal on the back. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about filling in the dots now that I've actually hit the record button. I use the metallic paint pens from the Dollar General, or I kind of like these Sharpie pens, also paint pens. They're oil based, from the Sharpie brand. Get these at Walmart, Michael's. I think these were like $2, $3 a piece. These were $1.50 at Dollar General. But you know, follow the instructions, which is not to shake the pen with the lid off. Danielle, shake it, and then you just go ahead and fill in your lines. You know, just a few swipes back and forth, and you go get your dots. Just slow circular motions. Sometimes you may need to make 1 or 2 additional passes just to make sure. But the key word being slow. You don't want to get paint all outside the dot, because then you'll have to go back with acetone and a Q-tip and wipe it off. But oops. Again, I go across my middle line, clockwise, counterclockwise a few times. If there's ever like a little divot, like, oh, I missed, it's no big. Just go back, hit it again, and you should be G to G. You definitely don't want to push if you're using a paint pen, because then you'll get this outpouring of paint and you'll have a definite mess on your hands. And you probably need to start all over with cleaning up your domino. So, again, all 28 dominoes to get this treatment. Some are obviously easier than others, so they don't have dots on all of them. There's a lot of different ways, different things I've seen, but this is the method that I prefer. Definitely time consuming, but you're going to want to be totally patient. So that is that. All right, so we went ahead and got these all painted in G to G. Actually ended up mixing a little black in there just for a little contrast with the dominoes. I think it's cute. Give them a little more character. And so for the final part, we are going to add the decal to the back. I used Oracle 651 vinyl. I used the clear kitchen liners from Walmart. I believe they're like this one with the duck. So much better than Dollar Tree. I had to learn. I too can grill, and this stuff is amazing. So I cut my decal. It's 1.75 and then 0.75. Vinyl scraper like butter. Peel that off. And I'm going to go ahead and find the center. Press that on there. And just like with most things, you can't say all, Oracle 651, I'm not going to do any additional sealing. Had this been like a water slide, I would add a little bit more epoxy. So we're going to opt out of that for today. So we are going to go ahead and peel this transfer off. None of that ooey gooey stuff from the Dollar Tree. I think they changed their formula. Do they have a formula? And now we have the back. So that is one completed domino. We started yesterday mid-afternoon, poured our first layer. About 6 hours later, we poured the second layer, let everything sit overnight. We did the paint, our dots, our lines, then added our decal. So overall it is, a little time consuming, but if you're dedicated to it, you can certainly start creating your own custom dominoes. And again, they're solid. Probably tomorrow I'll be able to give them the final slap test, but these are done. If you want to see the entire completed set and how I store them, be sure to check out my website. I will leave the link down in the comments. Also, if you have Instagram, Facebook, follow me, join my group. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next videos. Bye.